Well, once upon a time, someone reminded us yesterday on the program, a big fish from the ruling party, the PDP, was thrown behind bars, and they felt that was a big plus, even from some of the opposition, which we want to see in some of these states. They ordinarily wouldn't dare that. They haven't done what the PDP has done. Isn't that a mark to show that there is some level of, should I say, independence or non-interference with the process by the same party everyone talks about?
That's what I said. I said that from the beginning. Once we see that as a mark of strength or as a mark of gallantry on the side of anybody, sincerely, we are just begging the issue. Black, red, white, or colored, once you run short of the law, chief, Mr., Mrs., nobody cares. I don't care. So my attitude to it is I won't celebrate anybody for putting a chairman of a party in the prison or this thing, much as that person runs far off the law. Because once we plant that in our mind, what we grow out of it is the tendency to think that somebody is doing you a favor by rightly interpreting the law.
So what do you take out of the probe report? Is it that those indicted in the probe report, you have already taken it that they are guilty, or they also presumed innocent?
I said that before, that we won't do trial on the media. You understand? What I just know is that a committee was set up, and so far we've been told some stories, and we are taking it further. You understand? Of course, we saw what became of the committee. There was a spank that was thrown on the wheel of the committee stories to becloud the whole thing, to discredit this, to discredit that. But we've gone beyond that. We went as far as telling people, look, whatever anybody says about anyone taking bribe or whatever, we want the court to tell us more so that we'll be better informed. And when we'll be reacting from the background of an informed people.
You want the courts to tell you more? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that we want the court to look at all the options, everything placed on the table.
But the courts will only act exactly on what has been placed before.
Yeah.
So if a thorough investigation was not done before they go to the courts will only rule on what was brought before them, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the situation, I mean, I ask this question because sometimes when we say that the government hasn't done enough, or that, you know, they're doing this prosecution, let us see where the drama will end, we also seem to forget that if we say that we truly have the separation of powers and there is truly non-interference in the system, we should be able to see a judiciary which will act independently. And you have said that our judiciary acts fairly independently by your own assessment. Do you think that's because they are also one arm of government that has been in establishment or has been running even through military regimes and through the democracy, unlike the other arms of government that have been starts and stops, and it seems that all over again when we come back to democracy we have to relearn the ropes? Do you think that could be a reason for, you know, why the other arms might not compare favorably with, say, the judiciary, for instance?
If you look at the three arms of government, the way they operate here in Nigeria, you discover that a critical look at the judiciary, and like it happens elsewhere, understand, all over the world, is not always that easy. The way you carry a Ghana must go to the House of Assembly or this with the judiciary. You understand? Because the judicial arm is has a greater calling in transparency than the others. Essentially, it is built on, if you must come to equity, your hands must be clean. So, horse trading is almost synonymous with other arms of government. Mm-hmm. But with the judiciary, there is the need. Otherwise, the whole thing will become so funny and useless that you understand that we won't have a government at the end of the day.
So you don't attribute this better performance according to your assessment, to experience?
Yeah, it is. It is. And sincerely, too, if you look at it, that is the only place where we have continuity.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
that's the only place where you have continuity.
I'm asking if that is the reason why they seem to be doing better than the other arms of government.
It's one of
Would
the
you
reasons.
attribute it to
It's one
to
of
that?
the reasons. Continuity is one of the reasons. You understand? It's one of the reasons. The other one is that arm is the most sensitive arm of, and once you smear it, you don't have a government at all. If you have a judiciary that you cannot run to, if you have a judiciary that embraces Ghana must go, just like that, then...
Well, taking it from where Mark stopped talking about evidence brought before the law, before the courts, we have to go back to the EFCC. You talked about perhaps maybe they also went further to tell you more of the problems they're having, as well as the police. We have to look at some of these agencies. How well have they fared with regards to proper investigation, getting it right to the extent that when they get to courts, such cases are not thrown out of the windows?
From our own this thing with the EFCC, there are the fight against corruption is not as easy as we in the street think.
Really?
Yeah, it is not. According to the chairman, sometimes you deal with international bodies who are not willing, who will not be willing to cooperate with you. You understand? Sometimes too, things are not on fast roll. If somebody is caught today and you expect justice the next day, you understand? There are processes and there are procedures, and there are professionals who knows how to frustrate these processes
Deliberately?
Yeah, of course. People get paid. Or have you seen a case where somebody is taken to court even when it is clear that he stole and there is nobody to argue for him? There's always a lawyer that is ready to take the bid of anybody. So there are professionals who are there, who get paid, you understand, to work against the interest of you and I.
Well, some will say it's inexcusable for the FCC chairman to say that. Remember then, once upon a time, they had this, I don't know if that still exists with his own administration, they had this rapport with the Metropolitan Police in the UK and some other, and even the Interpol, to the extent that they say that they can get any information about anyone from other agencies around the world. How come now sometimes they say, I know you're not the FCC, but again, isn't that worrisome when they give you that kind of excuse?
No, it's just to paint to allow us to see the true picture, to paint that picture so that we know that you are fighting corruption. Corruption too fights back. It's not about fighting corruption. Corruption, again, has its own way of fighting back. It's not as easy as you think. Sina Odugbemi is caught today, tomorrow you see him on the cross being nailed to, it's not as easy as that. There are obstacles.
While analyzing the EFCC's capacity to prosecute financial crimes now, should the EFCC be granted full autonomy? Because this played out just prior to the election last year, where they released some names, and the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, said that did not get his consent.
Yeah, the question is,
should the EFCC be granted full autonomy?
I think,
in the light of this?
given the seriousness of the battle that we have to take against corruption, I think the EFCC needs to be empowered more. There are different opinions. There are people who even believe that there should be special courts to ensure that things, because once you delay justice, then the justice may not be there at the end of the day.